That's right. It's the Hollywood Social Lounge right here on KVVB TV, Channel 33. I'm Aaron Michael Sanchez. It's great to have you with us on today's show. I'm so excited about this because we got two big heavy hitters in ready to go just around the corner. Yes, we've got a little bit later on the show. We're going to be talking about the American film market, which is happening right now. You can check it out. It's all happening in Santa Monica at the Lowe's Hotel. It happens every year right around this time. A lot of filmmakers, producers, writers, you name it, anybody that has a film or wants to get a film done come together. They meet. A lot of films from international come and show off their stuff. People buy them and take them to other territories. It's a pretty complicated situation, but if you're in the world of film, this is the place you want to be. Speaking of places you want to be, we're also going to be speaking to our very good friends over at Stage 32. Yes, Richard Botto over there and the entire team at Stage 32, which is a fantastic social media platform bringing together, again, filmmakers, writers, producers. They can all do so online and do so pretty great. They've got amazing seminars and much, much more. We're going to be talking to Richard around the corner on what it was and what it took for him to actually put this huge undertaking together and how it's advanced from the time we first got introduced to them so many years ago and how much they've done since then. So super excited about that. We've also got shout outs, got movie trailers, we've got news coming up around the corner, including this Carrie Fisher. Yeah, did you see about her brother, what her brother said as to her technically what her role would have been in The Rise of Skywalker? We'll share a little bit of that. Also, Supernatural, the series is the finale. Yes, it's here. I know, after so many years. How many of you actually watch Supernatural? You can stream it on Netflix. Although, Mom, I don't recommend you watching it, but everybody else definitely could watch it. I know, because my mom will be like, "What? Why would you make me watch this?" I'm like, "No, Mom, I never said you should watch it, but everybody else should." The Good Place. Now, that one, Mom, you can watch. That actually is a really good show, but that is ending as well. So all of that and more right after these messages. Stay tuned right there. We'll be joining our radio audience over there at ABC News Radio, KMET 1490 AM. We'll be right back right after these messages. Stay tuned. That's right. We're on our commercial break here. We got Mr. Sean Nickerson over there. Good morning, Sean.
Hey, good morning, everyone.
Yes, and it is a big day in Santa Monica. Can't wait to share this all with you. Filmmaking at its finest. Gonna see a lot of friends that we've made over the years. I've been going to the American film market. Sean, first of all, do you know what the American film market is? I've talked about it before.
I've just heard you talk about it. I'm not, too familiar with it, but
Yeah, well, I mean, tickets are a pretty penny. I'm not gonna lie. Like, you have a 1 day or a 3 day. You definitely have to be in the film business, or maybe perhaps you have a film. Let's say you're an independent filmmaker.
1 minute.
Thank you. Let's say you're an independent filmmaker and you want to get your film distributed. Well, for example, Stars is there, Lionsgate is there, and a host of other distributors that maybe they distribute theatrically across the international seas. Perhaps they're on video on demand. They have all of that set up. Perhaps they're even in airplanes or a host of other ways. Or maybe it's territories. For example, Russia. There's a whole, I think, seminar
30 seconds.
on making a movie in Russia and what that's going to entail, including some other things. Usually China comes in, Hong Kong as well. They have a film market out there as well. And so everybody comes together and it all descends upon Santa Monica for the next few days. So super excited about that. So we're talking to Jonathan a little bit later
All
and
right, here
much,
we
much
go.
more.
10 seconds.
All right, thank you.
Ball Pick'em, and you could win a $25 Beaumont Applebee's gift certificate. Applebee's, where Beaumont meets Fanning.
That's right. It's the Hollywood Social Lounge right here on ABC News Radio, KMET 1490 AM. It's great to have each and every one of you with us. On today's show, it's all about the American film market. It's happening for the next few days. We're super excited about this. The American film market brings together writers, producers, filmmakers, everybody in the business all come together. They descend upon LA, Santa Monica, actually, not Hollywood, just next to Hollywood, and all come together to talk about film, talk about what it takes to make it for the new filmmakers out there, and for those that are experienced and perhaps they already have films that they want to get distributed. This is when the buyers come out. The buyers meaning the distributors that say, okay, you've made this film, we're going to distribute it to our multiple platforms, whatever that may be, either theatrically, video on demand, which is huge right now. I remember being at certain conferences. I get all of my information at the American Film Market, and you can too. It's simple. All you have to do is go get your ticket at americanfilmmarket.com. They have day rates. They also have several days to go, and usually if you go early and you get in there right on time, you can actually get the events even after. They have a lot of after parties to be able to network. It's all really a networking fest. We've met a lot of friends and family members really that have become so near and dear to us just by going every single year. I think I've gone for the last 8 to 10 years, I want to say. So it's been a long time. But Jonathan Wolf is going to be joining us right here, live on air, coming up around the corner. Also, another big company, which we have been friends with. Actually, I think we met outside of AFM, but then we've seen each other at AFM and go, oh, hey, we know you. Yes, our good friends at Stage 32. And Stage 32 is one of those sites that even this week, I was telling people you need to be on Stage 32. I remember when I first got my first invite a long time back. It was like, you remember back in the days, how Facebook, LinkedIn, they would send you an invite, say, why don't you join us? And you were like, okay, I'll go check it out. I did the same thing with Stage 32, and I had joined quite a while back, and then all of a sudden, both Jesse and I, one of my other business partners, he and I were at the Manhattan studios, and next door to us was Stage 32, and I was like, I know you guys, we know each other, and so after a conversation, we at that time had them on our show when we were at a different radio station before this show actually existed, and so we have seen them grow, and it's so exciting to be able to see where they're at today from all those years ago. So that's Stage 32. We're going to be talking to Richard Botto around the corner as well. So super excited about that. But first, we want to say a big hello to our sound engineer for the day, Mr. Sean Nickerson. Good morning, Sean.
Hey, good morning, everyone. How are you?
Good. Okay, so quick question here. Sean, I know you are a fan of different sorts. Are you a fan of Carrie Fisher's role in Star Wars? That's a pretty big, like, you almost don't want to say no, but I'll give you the option.
Yeah. I mean, who wouldn't like?
All right, so, but a lot of people kind of had, like, there was a hit and miss that I saw in social media, of course, with her passing, which was very sudden. People were kind of like, not sure that she had those abilities or those powers right away. Remember that? And I'm talking about her powers that all of a sudden she had, which were like, in where she's like, kind of beams herself back. If you haven't seen it already, I'm sorry, I'm probably spoiling it for you. But according to this, the reason I say this is her brother recently came out and said that, who is Todd Fisher, he said to Yahoo Entertainment what producers previously planned for his late sister's arc in the Star Wars saga. So he said this, quote, he said, she was going to be the big payoff in this final film. That's what the intent was. She was going to be the last Jedi, so to speak. People used to say to me, why is it that Carrie never gets a lightsaber and chops up some bad guys? Now, of course, the Desert Scavenger turned Jedi apprentice Rey was always going to be intended to become the last Jedi or a last Jedi. So the question remains, well, yeah, would that have been a pretty cool plotline? What do you think, Sean?
Wow, I don't know. I don't necessarily see her as that. So yeah.
Yeah, I think I mean that might be a stretch, but maybe he knew things we don't, right? So I'm just saying. But looking forward, of course, according to this, they said Star Wars: The Rise of Skywalker opens December 20th. Now, the question I posed to all of you in social media land: will you be there to check it out? Now, of course, I recommend at least seeing it through to the end, right? If you started from, of course, the original back in 77, then you went back to the prequel, and then you went back forward, like, you cannot not see it, even if, and correct me, I'm sorry, I was disappointed in the last one. I think a lot of people were. I mean, it was kind of one of those, I got like a hit and miss on the last one, but you gotta see it end, right? So we'll see what happens there. Also, check this out, Supernatural series finale. Now, I don't know if you've binge watched any of these, Sean. I know you've never talked about it, so I'm assuming the answer would be no, but I could be wrong. You might surprise me.
Nope, never got into that one.
Yeah, I thought so. So I think I'm alone on this one. But evidently, look, it went, I think, 15, 16 seasons. Supernatural. Oh, so sad. It's finally time. They'll go through one final move before it's all over. Actually, they're moving. The CW announced that the drama will move now to Mondays at 8 p.m. for its final run of episodes, beginning on March 16th and leading into the season 2 return of Roswell, New Mexico. Remember that? I can't believe that one's actually coming back. So there you go. The network revealed Supernatural will air its series finale on Monday, May 18th. So those of you who have followed the series for quite some time, because that's a lot of fandom. I mean, you don't go, I think, 15, 16 seasons and not like attract a lot of great people, and especially with Netflix now, you could go back to the very beginning and follow up, which is actually what I did. I was a late bloomer when it came to Supernatural. I did not start right off the bat with that, by the way, but I did like follow it, and now I'm like waiting to see how they're doing. Although the last season was a little iffy. I was kind of like, okay, I think the writers got a little lazy. I think they tend to do that when they know it's kind of no more, right? They kind of like, all right. So I don't know how I feel about that. But and then there's this, The Good Place. Now, The Good Place, if you have you I know we talk about a lot of movies. I don't see you see like a comedy, Sean, but have you seen The Good Place or checked it out?
No, sorry, I sure haven't.
It's all right. It's all right. I got to turn you on to some of this stuff. So The Good Place, which is a fantastic show. I at first was not going to give it any of my attention because I thought, okay, it's very rare for me to like any like comedies, right? Because I'm kind of, I think I'm jaded by a couple. And so I saw this and I saw like the punchline already. And so I wasn't so happy about that because I'm like, well, if I already know The Good Place, what it is, wink, 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 which if you've seen it, you know exactly what I'm talking about, which if you haven't seen it, then I say start from scratch because it is a really good one. So we went through, both Brendan and I went through all 3 seasons. We're actually caught up. Well, according to this, it's the series finale coming up. So, which is good because we're in season 3 already. Season 4 is happening. The Good Place will say goodbye for eternity on January 30th. That farewell will be considerable. NBC announced on Friday it will send off the Mike Schur created Afterlife comedy. And with the cast, of course, let's see, with Seth Meyers. He's going to host a post-show with the cast, which includes Ted Danson, Kristen Bell, Jamila Jamil, William Jackson Harper, D'Arcy Carden, and Manny Jacinto. Now, the festivities start at 8:30 p.m. It'll last for 90 minutes. It was revealed earlier this year that the Emmy-nominated critical darling would wrap it up its loopy, ethics-infused adventure after its 4th season. Of course, what are you going to expect in the final chapter? Well, you got to wait and see. But again, this is one of those shows, if you are going to catch up on anything, I say go ahead and binge watch this. Mom, you can watch it too. It's got a great, I like the way it actually can be very smart and philosophical. I never took philosophy, didn't think much of it, but it has some interesting ideas in there. I was like, okay, I could get behind this. All right, well, we need to take a break. When we come up, we're going to speak with our very good friend over there, Richard Botto, over there at Stage 32. He's going to talk about all the great developments that they have over there, as well as What made him want to do this? Because this is a huge undertaking, and Richard is one not to take things lightly. He goes in full force. You could tell. Watch. So Stage 32, that's coming up right after these messages. Stay tuned right there. We'll be right back right after this.
Everybody get down like that if you like it.
All right, that's right. We are on our commercial break. For those of you joining us for the very first time, this is where we talk behind the scenes with our guests. It's kind of like, the show before the show or the mid-show show. Anyway, I talked way too much, but who I really want to speak to right now is Richard Botto over there at Stage 32. He's in his studio right now. Good morning. Welcome to the show, Richard.
Good to be here, Aaron. How are you doing?
Doing fantastic, but not as fantastic as you. AFM, I understand some pretty big stuff. I'm like on pins and needles. Something's going on over there, and I don't know what it is, but I think it's pretty big and huge.
Yeah, I mean, we are, for the fourth year in a row, the official film networking and education platform of the American film market, and we couldn't be more proud of that honor. We work every year with Jonathan Wolf, who runs AFM. He's a great friend of mine, one of the most progressive thinkers in the industry, and that's why the conference is always, has its fingers on the pulse of everything that's happening in the business right now, because it's rapidly changing. Every minute, it seems like something new is happening, either with the way films are being
1 minute, guys. 1 minute.
Okay, thanks.
Distribution, all of it. And Jonathan's he's got his finger on the pulse of it. So we're excited. We bring a lot of education to the market. I head up a couple of panels and a couple of talks, and it's been a great partnership. Couldn't be more proud of it.
Well, and I'm excited for this. Again, we'll reintroduce you. I definitely want to talk a lot about that, but I really want to talk about the evolution of Stage 32. How many years ago did it start?
Started in 2011. It's our 8th year.
Wow. Okay, because I remember
30 seconds.
I remember getting an email, I think from somebody else that probably signed up. They're like, "You need to sign up to this." I'm like, "Okay," and I set up a profile, and then I didn't visit it for a while, and then I met you guys in person. And I was like, "Wow, this is fantastic." I went back to it. Now I tell everybody, you need to network on that. Okay, we're gonna reintroduce you here.
Right,
So just
here we go. 10 seconds.
hang tight over there.
1-866-482-2140 or go to www.fujon.com.
Like that. Everybody get down like that if you
That's right. It's the Hollywood Social Lounge right here on ABC News Radio, KMET, 1490 AM, KVVB TV 33, Facebook Live, Periscope TV, YouTube Live, and now LinkedIn Live. Yes, it's that time for another person who is no stranger to social media. He created a social network like none other. Other people have probably tried it in the past, but none succeeded. We have with us Richard Botto, the CEO and founder of Stage 32. Good morning. Welcome to the show, Richard.
Good morning, Aaron. Thanks for having me, buddy.
Yeah, no, look, Richard, you have done something, what I call is really the impossible. When you first started up Stage 32, what is it that you wanted to achieve?
Well, I mean, a lot of people that come from a tech background or create something technology-based always say that they create it because they recognize a void or a need and fill it. But for me, it was filling the need for myself. I've been an actor and a producer and a screenwriter in this business for a while. And what I know about this business is that it's a relationship business. It's a tribal business. And as such, I felt like there needed to be a platform that was dedicated to connecting and educating people who work in film, television, and digital. Because, part of the job, of course, is creating content and being out there and knowing your role. But the other part is being on the edge of the education part of it, which is what we provide. We have over 1,200 hours of education taught by over 500 educators worldwide.
Wow.
And, that was the dream. The dream was to connect and educate creatives all across the globe. It started with 100 of my dear friends in the industry that joined the platform. And today we're over 500,000 strong across the world. And it's been a really rewarding journey, I would say.
Well, and I love what you're saying right now, because across the world is truly what has happened. I remember back in the day, or at least I was told, because I wasn't in filmmaking until like the last 10 years, or in the world of filmmakers. And so all that I knew was people just kind of like shook hands, they exchanged maybe emails at the time, they had to pick up a phone. But how has that evolved to today? Because now the world has really shrunk down, especially in the film world.
You couldn't be more right. And digital content, I would add that as well, film and digital content, and TV. I mean, TV is happening all over the world, where it's a gold rush for television right now, the amount of content that's being produced. But you're 100% right. The world is getting smaller by the minute. And what we're seeing is, co-productions from different countries. We're seeing films being shot in one country, being edited and post-production being done in another country, being scored in another country. It truly is a global collaborative medium now,
right,
for film, television, and digital. So, yeah, I mean, this is why the platform has thrived, in my opinion, is that, it doesn't matter really where you are any longer. LA is not the last, frontier, so to speak. It's global. It truly is.
Well, and so let me ask you this, because obviously I feel sometimes, and I get hit up a lot on LinkedIn. I get, for example, a lot of people saying, can you look at my script? Can you look at this? Can you look at that? And I always say, whoa, like I get a little like leery about that. In fact, I just say, no, I don't review anything, because I don't want down the line, if we ever produce something, like something to pop up and they go, oh, I sent that to you. What's the benefits or the ways that you say that you should work digitally, like, for example, or some of the tools that Stage 32 has to offer?
Well, I mean, LinkedIn was one of the reasons why I started the platform. LinkedIn has its spot in the world. There's no question about it. But for creatives, I was on LinkedIn and I was getting the same exact thing that you were getting. A lot of people just coming at me, looking for me to do things for them, or looking to break in and not understanding how to break in. This community is much, much more. Obviously, everybody that's in the community is looking to be they're either in the business or looking to be in the business. So that's one part of it. But the second part is that there is so much content and education on the platform. We have a section called the Lounge, which is like our version of forums, that has over 125,000 conversations and threads that have been started. So you really could come on the platform, get involved, get embedded in the community, learn quickly, ask questions. It's a very, very friendly community. We don't allow spam. We certainly don't allow trolling. Everybody has to stand in front of their name. So it's a very friendly, welcoming, and inviting, collaborative community where you feel support, because as creatives, support is everything. It really is. You want to be around people that are like-minded and that have the same goals as you. That allows you not to get down and
right.
to know that, to see other people doing it. So that's a big difference as it relates to, like, let's say Stage 32 versus LinkedIn or Facebook or Twitter or any place else. It's a concentrated community.
Well, Richard, if I could just have you move your mic, because it's rubbing up against your collar really quick.
Sure.
But yeah, there we go. Let me dive into some of the success stories that you've had, because just like AFM, a lot of people come together, billions of dollars gets made, and outside of that, everybody comes together to make deals, strike deals. Do you have like a thermometer or barometer that you might have over there of what are some of the success that has come out from people meeting on your social platform?
I mean, it's every day. I mean, it's not only people that are connecting through the organic part of the community, but it's also people working with our executives and delving into our producing services, our script services. We just had a huge success of a writer that came through one of our screenwriting labs. She developed a project through the lab that just went to Eli Roth, who is going to produce and direct it. It's going to be released next Halloween.
Oh, wow.
So that's a big deal. It's
huge.
It's a huge deal. And we have success stories like this every day. I mean, it's amazing. I mean, personally, I've produced, about 7 films over the last few years, that features and shorts. Every single one of them came through the platform, came through relationships that were built through the platform over years, and projects that we developed over years. And we have many more in development. That's just me. What I try to stress to everybody is, people think like, okay, you're out in front of this thing, you're running this thing. But no, I use this thing, and I use it every day, and I treat that networking like a job. And that's how the success stories come. People are actually working it every day. So yeah, we've had many feature films, more than I can even name, many shorts, many TV shows, digital content to Amazon. We've had so many success stories. And again, every single one of them we celebrate here, because we couldn't be more excited and more proud of the people that really work the platform the right way.
Well, and filmmaking has really evolved. I mean, the fact that you just say film and it's not shot on film anymore is kind of a testament to the way the digital frontier, as I like to call it, has really morphed, right? Even cameras, specs, and such. But take me a little bit to that, either, let's say, the novice filmmaker, right? The one that's wanting to learn. Now, there's a lot of high-priced schools which are out there, which I'm not going to knock. They're all really good, and they all have something to offer. There's nothing like hands-on experience. But perhaps more of the business side, which I find in some of these schools they don't really teach. Yet your platform actually is able to kind of fill in that void. And I hope you know what I'm talking about, which is your programs or your videos. Can you talk about that?
Yeah, I mean, it was one of the goals again from the beginning. I mean, if there's one thing I learned going through all my years being in this industry, it's the fact that everybody, a lot of people focus on the craft, but they don't focus on the business and how to navigate the business. And you couldn't be more right. The schools aren't teaching it. And film schools are insanely expensive, and they kind of drop you off at the curb. They give you the skills, but then they kind of drop you off at the curb.
Right.
What we stress is the business end. Obviously we have a ton of education on the craft, but we teach a lot about the business. Every single one of our educators, and I mentioned we have about 500 of them, are working in the business right now. They're doing it right now. So they bring you actionable information. People in the industry use our education to train their employees, which again is a testament to what we're doing and why, we're extremely proud of that. But you couldn't be more right. I always say to people, half of your job is understanding the craft, and the other half is networking and understanding the business and understanding how to navigate it. And you could take 2 people of equal talent, 2 great filmmakers, 2 great screenwriters. The one that's going to succeed is the one that understands how to navigate the business, how to get those reads, how to get those views. That's what matters. And, we teach that every day.
Well, and Richard, I know we're coming up against the end of our time. I have so much more to ask you. I wish we could do a full hour show, which I know you've done. You've done this on your own platform. But really quick, before we let you go, I understand the American film market, which is waiting in the wings over there. The American film market, and among others, you have done this joint venture. Can you speak on that yet? Because I know it was like a big news this week.
Yeah, I mean, we're the education partner of many film festivals and markets around the world, and bring education to a ton of conferences and film commissions. We just did a big thing down in Trinidad and Tobago. But one of the ones I'm most proud of is it's our 4th year of being the film networking and education partner of the American film market, AFM, which is going on right now in Santa Monica. My great friend Jonathan Wolf, who you're about to have on, I can't say enough about this guy. I love this guy. And one of the reasons why I love him so much, besides the fact that he's an amazing human being, is that he's just completely progressive as it relates to what's going on in the business. You see a lot of conferences, a lot of film festivals, they're very staid. They're very, they're not, they don't want to change.
I've been to them.
They don't want to evolve.
Yeah.
And
they don't even have wireless there. They don't even have internet there sometimes. It's like, really?
Oh, it's crazy.
Yeah.
It's crazy. So we bring some education. We help Jonathan along. I get to give some talks there, which I'm, extremely grateful for. I'm speaking on a panel tomorrow, and I'm teaching a course on crowdsourcing this coming week. So, I mean, I just love Jonathan. You're going to see it firsthand. Everybody that's watching, you're going to get to see him in a few minutes here. But he gets it. He gets it. And we couldn't be more proud to be a partner of AFM.
Okay, so if you were to describe, since you know Jonathan a little bit better than I do, because I only see him, I don't see him behind the scenes. I just see him like working AFM. So I see him very professional in the suit. I only saw him, I came across him one time eating at like a bagel factory, and I was like, oh, it's Jonathan Wolf. Like, I felt almost like starstruck in the moment. I'm like, do I talk to him? Do I not talk to him? I see him every time at AFM. I don't know if he wants to be disturbed. It was weird. I felt like he was like the celebrity on campus and nobody knew. I'm like, you know who that is? That's Jonathan Wolf. But for you, on a personal level, working so closely with him, describe to him in 3 words, if you can.
Oh my goodness. An incredible guy. I mean, he just is. He's an incredible guy, and he deserves that kind of reverence in a lot of ways because, you know, again, what I think he is doing in this day and age is, you know, unparalleled in a lot of ways. So, yeah, he's just an incredible guy. I couldn't be happier to have him in my life and to call him my friend.
Well, you know, I love it because on today's show, we got 2 titans on the show. I've got you, Richard, and we got Jonathan. So, see, you just described him, and that's the way we think about you. So, congratulations, again, surrounding yourself with those that are making a difference in the world of film. And I see this, like, I don't know, 50, 60 years down the line, you'll get like this award, right? And you'll be like, you know, the one who transformed the way people learn about filmmaking, because it's true. There's a lot that either they feel they have to fly out to LA, they feel they have to fly out to the East Coast, and they have to learn. But now, as we all know, there's film commissions everywhere, and in order to like get outside of the box, sometimes you can just go online, like Stage 32, right?
100%. And I mean, there's really, you know, we like to say that there's no excuses anymore. You know, the doors are open to this platform 24/7, 365. So, you know, if you're standing in line at Starbucks, or, you know, you're waiting for your bus, or you're on the train or whatever, you could be networking, you could be taking education. There's just no excuses anymore. And, you know, again, to be recognized globally as the leaders in online education for film, television, and digital has been incredibly rewarding for all of us, and we take it very seriously. And so I appreciate your words, and I always appreciate coming on your show, and I always appreciate your friendship as well. So thank you for all that.
Yeah, no, absolutely. Thank you, Richard. Again, we got to let you go. But again, Stage 32, this is where it's at. All you have to do is type it in. It's very simple. Stage 32. It's the world's largest social network and educational hub for film, television, and theater creatives. More than 400,000 films and TV creatives worldwide, and growing every single day. That's Richard over there. He's the man with the plan. Thanks again for spending time with us here on the Hollywood Social Lounge, Richard.
Thank you. Thank you for everybody that's watching and listening. And Jonathan, I'll see you later on. Thanks,
All right.
Aaron.
All right. See you later on. We'll see you probably today or tomorrow too. Okay. So
Awesome.
yes, we're going to continue our coverage here of the American film market, which is happening each and every year. If you miss it this year, it's okay. You can get tickets for next year. We need to take a break. When we come back, we've got our very own Jonathan Wolf coming up right after these messages. Stay tuned.
All clear.
All right, so we are on our commercial break over there at both stations, both television and radio. One of the few shows that actually stream live, television, radio, and online. So we try to keep technical difficulties down to a minimum, but sometimes it's hard to do that. So every now and then you'll hear like a mic doing something, and we're like, oh no, how do you inform them, right? Other than like saying it right there on the show. I'm like, I was ready to text his assistant over there, and I was like, oh man. So anyway, but okay, so well, we appreciate you again. This is our behind the scenes. This is usually the stuff everybody else cuts out, but we keep on because we want to do shout outs to those of you tuning in live. Like let's see, on Periscope, we got Guy Gertha, 22 over there. Steven Sant, thanks for tuning in. Susaneto, Keith Irvin, Buzzball, Crichton, Arjan. Let's see, I am McLovin, 42019, and Timo Karma, also Stage 32, tuning in as well. Yes, one of the things we love about Twitter is it'll sit on there.
Everyone. 1 minute.
It'll sit on there for quite some time, so you can always retweet it and share with your friends and family. On Facebook, we see you guys over there. Let's see, we got Steven Sant, Fraser Ramsey. We also see our audience over there at LinkedIn Live, YouTube Live. Thanks for tuning in. We got lots to talk about here with Jonathan Wolf, who, as far as I know, he's been with the American film market since the beginning of time. At least I remember seeing him like grace
30 seconds.
It's like he floats in the hallway. Like he just kind of floats, and then you're like, oh, there's Jonathan Wolf, you know. And he's so nice at the same time. Like he's like welcoming to everybody. Which at the end of like a full week, I would be like, I don't want to shake another hand. Everybody descends upon American film market, and everybody wants to talk to Jonathan.
We go air in 10 seconds.
All right.
Your smartphone. Don't miss out on the free KMET smartphone apps. Go to KMET1490am.com and download your free phone app today.
Everybody get down like that.
That's right. It's the Hollywood Social Lounge right here on ABC News Radio, KMET 1490 AM, also KVVB TV 33, Facebook Live and Periscope TV, LinkedIn Live, and also YouTube Live. All social media platforms that have some sort of video. Speaking of the American film market, it's my pleasure to introduce to you Jonathan Wolf. Jonathan has been there since the beginning of time. Yes, we got Jonathan. Good morning. Welcome to the show, Jonathan.
Oh, geez, don't say from the beginning of time, but 20 years feels like it.
Well, it's been, look, I've only been going for the last 10 of those years, like half of those years, Jonathan. And I just remember seeing you for the very first time. And I said, who is that guy? And then later I'd see you like head up some of the panels. And then I saw you do more. At first I thought you were just the hired help. Then I realized you run the whole thing. What's that journey been like for you?
You know, it's been terrific because of the people we get to work with. You had RB on just before. I really don't know if I could even follow the intro he set up for me. I'm a big bottle of scotch. But it's the people we connect with. I mean, just being able to see films get greenlit, films get financed, the excitement of the production community, just to see those artists and those entrepreneurs succeed. For me, year after year, that's what makes this enjoyable.
Well, and Jonathan, look, each and every year you always astound me with what you introduce. And I mean, it's always a new technology marvel. I remember when for the first time you had like you were recording the film, actually like the panels, and then you were streaming that out to the audience in the lobby, which for those that don't know, at the time, everybody was allowed into the lobby. But now I'm so glad you actually cut that off. You made it so that it's very premiere, like you can't just sneak in. And now you have really evolved to the next level, which I'm not sure how long you've had this, but now you're featuring films online. What was the impetus to do that? Because I know a lot of your buyers can go and see it in the theater, but now you're making it available to them like from the comfort of their hotel room.
And this really reflects how the industry is changing. For those who haven't been to the AFM, we close all the theaters on the Santa Monica Promenade for the week of the show, and they all become private screening rooms. And we have 29 auditoriums going nonstop, about 80 world premieres and about another 200 or so films we'll show. But if you have a smaller film, a film maybe it's headed for TVOD, AVOD, SVOD, and you have a low budget, the idea of having one screening for 90 minutes with 28 other films screening at the same time, and you want the world's buyers to come in, you might have some challenges when there's some big budget films playing at the same time, and it's expensive to do.
Right.
So we created a platform for these production and distribution companies to get their films online exclusively for the buyers at AFM, where they can see the film maybe even a few days before the market starts, or if they missed it during the market, to follow up being able to see it afterwards. Since a lot of these films aren't destined to be theatrical films, seeing it on a smaller screen is an appropriate experience. And so we've set this up. I think we have about 70, 80 films that are screening in this manner, and they're all being represented either by sales companies who are at the market or producers who are looking for representation of their film.
Now, Jonathan, I know I'm excited to attend this year's AFM. You always have some great panelists. You bring in heavy hitters. I remember one year we had Adam Carolla, and we had him on the show thanks to visiting your American Film Market. And then, he was talking about his film, and we've met so many good ones. And then I see like the dailies, and I'm like, oh man, we missed that person, the other one. I mean, you have some heavy hitters. Any that you can speak of this year coming up?
Well, right now I'm standing right outside our main stage, which is at the Fairmont Hotel. There's 700 people inside the room where we have our pitch conference. And Cassian Ellis, for example, who has produced over 300 films, is volunteering his morning to hear about 25 pitches on stage with 2 others, to hear pitches and just help each of those filmmakers improve their pitch. It's not a pitch to see if they can sell the film to Cassian and his fellow panelists, but rather to help them refine their pitch and get a pitch that will actually help motivate an audience. Because at the end, a bad pitch may prevent a great film from getting sold. And sometimes good pitches actually get films made that maybe shouldn't have.
You know what? I hate to agree with you, but I actually agree. And I've sat through one of those, and I thought, whoa, it's so grueling, because not only are you pitching to the one person, you're pitching to the entire room. And I almost wanted to televise some of that, but only because I wanted to laugh at some of them. But it's a great learning experience. Is there any tips that you give? Because I'm sure people come to you all the time pitching you. Is there any tips you can give the novice filmmaker out there?
Sure. I guess the best example is this. If you've ever walked onto a car lot and the salesman comes up to you, has the salesman ever said first, without even asking your name, I've got the perfect car for you, it's red, it's 4 doors, automatic, it gets great mileage, let me walk over and show it to you?
No.
Sales qualifies the prospect. What we have, unfortunately, when we have creative producers who are so in love with their film, it's like they're firstborn. They sometimes believe in faith-based pitching. If I tell every single person in the world about the film, at some point, it's going to connect with someone who can get the film made. But the fact is, the best way to pitch is to first qualify the company. If you've got a certain genre and a certain budget, you only want to reach out to those types of companies that handle that genre and that budget, understand what it is, and then tell them not how good the film is, but you're telling them how the film can reach an audience and how it can be profitable.
Well, okay, so Jonathan, look, I know you wear a lot of hats there. Primarily, you run the whole show, but you got a great team, right? What does it take to make the American Film Market, or also known as AFM, work every single year? Because as I've seen it, you kind of streamlined it, because it used to be like a full from Wednesday, which I think it was, but today's kind of the premiere day. So how has that evolved and changed?
Well, the market is still 7 days long. On Wednesday, most of the participants are large production companies and the territorial buyers, and we tend to encourage the production community to start to arrive on Saturday, and this is where we really launch most of our sessions. We'll have 52 or 53 sessions, about 150 speakers over 3 stages in 4 days. And so we tend to encourage the production community, wait a few days, let some of the business people who've set up films already get some of those film deals and meetings taken care of, and then come down to the market. But one thing that's very important, a lot of times people will come to the market and they only have one mission, and that's transactional. They just something they want to sell, and their only reason for every conversation is transactional, and that can be almost somewhat unpleasant as you talk to somebody and they're only looking at how can you help me get this transaction done. This is an industry relationship, and we sometimes tell participants, spend a day without ever telling anybody why you're there. Ask them what they're doing, understand what the projects are that they have, because as you listen and learn, you learn how to pitch, you learn how to target your film to the needs of others, and you might actually meet people where you have a common bond and a common thread. There's things you can do together.
I am so glad you said that, Jonathan, because you don't know how many circles I've been in there at American Film Market, and there are some that you're just like, wow, you just want to learn more about them because you're right. You connect with them as a human being. And then there's those that have, their little banner and they're like, here, let me show you something. This is the thing I got. And you're like, I can't help you, but I could probably connect you with somebody else that can help you that's in the room. You don't even know it, but they're so, I want to say, kind of forcing it upon you that you're like, you're almost like, I hate to say this because I think we've all been there. You want to almost end the conversation and move on, right?
Yes. I mean, I may be repeating myself, but spending a day going office to office, just asking what a company does, what kinds of films they make, understanding where the marketplace is headed. We work in an art form, but it is called film business. And choose to make a film like a painter that you just sort of hand your painting to a family member, and maybe they put it in their living room, or maybe they put it in the closet. This is a film business, and you want to make films that are going to reach audiences. And something we tell producers, writers, spend a day talking to some of the 350 companies with offices and just ask them what's working in the marketplace. I'm a writer.
Ooh.
What story should I write? I'm a producer. What kinds of scripts should I look for? Too many writers are told write what you know, and then all we end up with is coming of age stories.
Right.
Coming of age stories over and over because young writers are writing what they know. But those are some of the most difficult films to sell. And for a writer, producer, just to work the AFM and understand where the marketplace is, because this is where you'll see hundreds and hundreds of films that haven't started shooting yet, being pitched by the companies, about to go before the cameras, so you can actually see where the place is going to be a year out. And that's a really interesting part of the market.
Well, Jonathan, I know we've run out of time with you, but I want to ask before we let you go really quick. When you helped start the American film market so many years ago, what is that take home every single time when it's finished for you that you have every single year? And then you say, you know what, I want to do this another year. Because a lot of people I could see, like they go through all this and they're like, whew, I'm done. I'm never going to do that again. And yet here you are.
Well, first, I didn't start it. It started in 1981. I stepped in 98. But for me, it really comes down to the fact that we are enabling independent art and commerce. And as we walk away, we look at the success of the deals that are there, the films that without a marketplace like this, they've never found their funding or never found their audience. We want to see films that go beyond the studios and Netflix and Amazon. We want to see films that are made for every audience, that are diverse. Diversity comes from risk takers. And those risk takers aren't just the actors or writers, because frequently they're paid for what they're doing. The risk takers are the producers, those entrepreneurs that spend the time to develop the property, work with the writers, go through the pitch, that really have that sweat equity in it. This is the audience that we're serving. Without those risk takers and entrepreneurs, we wouldn't have the diverse choices as consumers that we really desire.
Well, I remember it explained to me one time, and it really made sense to me, and it hit home. It's like setting up a business, having the business all done, hiring all the employees, getting it done, and then closing shop, and then creating a new business over and over and over again. And it's the ones that succeed that know how to like duplicate that over and over again. We always talk about small businesses like furthering the economy, but I would venture to say film is another thing that helps further our economy. Is that correct?
Well, absolutely, especially if you're in major areas like production areas like California, New York, and others. Film is a huge employer. But it's again, you sort of come back to small business. The majority of films are independent films. The studios make maybe 100, 120 films a year. There are 1,000 other English language, just speaking English. Forget what's in China and India and the rest of the world. 1,000 other English language films that are made by those small business people, those risk takers, those entrepreneurs, and that's the community we face support.
Well, Jonathan, again, it's always a pleasure to have you on our show. Thank you so very much for spending time with us. We'll definitely see you at the American Film Market this year and every year. It's very simple. Just go get your tickets at theamericanfilmmarket.com. You could do a day pass. You could do a full week pass. It just depends on what your goals are. Thank you, Jonathan, for spending time with us here on the Hollywood Social Lounge.
Thanks, Aaron. Great to be here.
All right. Okay, so we'll let Jonathan go. But yes, like I said, go get your ticket. It's simple. AmericanFilmMarket.com. filmmaking.com. You'll see the day rates. You'll see several days. You could enter some of the panels. And like Jonathan said, even if perhaps you have a film, connect with those around you on a personal level. You don't know how many friends we have made throughout the years that we've seen at other functions, some even internationally. And you know where we stay connected? Stage 32. Okay, Stage 32, Facebook, and the others. And many of these filmmakers are production people or buyers. Some are heads of studios in other countries, which I have yet to visit. All of these descend upon the American film market, and they network, and then it's all how you work it down the line. It's the art of it is in the follow-up, right? So you can see each other, see everybody every year, but if you follow up with some of these, I know we have made some long-lasting connections there. So if I can make any recommendation to anybody in the entertainment world, go get your tickets. Descend upon the American film market, make some connections. Hey, who knows? You may even want to produce a film, and who knows? It might get picked up the following year. I've heard of stories like that, so that could be you as well. Okay, we need to take a huge break. We'll be right back right after these messages with more right here of the Hollywood Social Lounge. Stay tuned.
Like that. Everybody get down like that. If you like it, then make it.
All right, so we're on a commercial break. How cool was that? Again, hopefully many of you can get a sense of Jonathan. And you know what? He really I feel that like he underestimates himself. He's very humble, right? I don't know. I've never seen him behind the scenes though. And again, being able to rally a bunch of filmmakers and producers and a lot of personalities, and he just stays calm the whole time. I don't think I've ever seen him get like mildly upset, because he just he keeps like an even head, right? Which is important in situations like that. But you know, kind of like what Richard said, you know, always forward thinking. They're like, okay, well, what technology can we help to move us through on this? I know a lot of filmmakers are always like very they're like, whoa, it can't.
30 seconds.
Oh, thanks. It can't be online. And it's like, well, they have a very protected. We've met the people behind their protected service over there. So they protect it like nobody's business. But it's great because, hey, if you want to show your feature or your television
Okay,
show,
here we go.
it's important.
Or visit us online and watch the videos at david11ent.com. That's david11ent.com.
Like that. Everybody get down like that.
That's right. You're watching the Hollywood Social Lounge right here on ABC News Radio, KMET 1490 AM, KVVB TV, Channel 33, Facebook Live, Periscope TV, LinkedIn Live, and also YouTube Live. Okay, so we want to say a big thank you to American Film Market's very own Jonathan Wolf, also Richard Botto over there at Stage 32. Again, two titans on our show. which will forever go as our legendary duo right here on the Hollywood Social Lounge. Again, bringing all filmmakers together and helping direct them in which way they can go. Speaking of film, this one I cannot wait to see. Includes Mr. Rogers, Tom Hanks, and much more in the trailer. You got to check this out. Here we go.
Hey, I'm looking for Fred Rogers.
In here.
It's a beautiful day in this neighborhood, a beautiful day for a neighbor. Would you be mine? Could you be mine? Please won't you be my neighbor? Hello, neighbor.
Mr. Rogers, I'm here to interview you.
It is so nice to meet you.
You okay?
Profiling Mr. Rogers.
Boyd, please don't ruin my childhood.
This piece will be for an issue about heroes. Do you consider yourself a hero?
We are trying to get the positive feelings.
Yeah? Like what?
There are many things you can do. You could play all the lowest keys on a piano at the same time.
You love broken people. Like me.
Sometimes we have to ask for help, and that's okay. I think the best thing we can do is to let people know, that each one of them is precious.
Hey, Mr. Rogers. It's a beautiful day in the neighborhood, a beautiful day for a neighbor. Please won't you be my neighbor?
That was wonderful.
Yes, November 22nd it's coming to theaters, and of course, after that, video on demand. I cannot wait to see this, most likely in the movie theater, because Mr. Rogers, who didn't grow up on Mr. Rogers? Okay, granted, the newer generation hasn't, but for the rest of us, it was a great time. And Tom Hanks, doesn't he like totally epitomize Fred Rogers? So great job, Tom, the entire crew over there as well. Again, not such an independent film, or is it? I don't know. Was it done by a big studio? I know they sometimes distribute these, but sometimes they're indies made to be big. I'm pretty sure that was a pretty big one. But so there you go. Speaking of independent filmmakers, yes, it's all happening this week. It actually already started earlier on in the week, Wednesday. But today, they're letting a lot of those that have day passes and several day passes, a lot of panels, a lot of conferences, all happening today. So if you don't get a chance to see this on time and you're like behind the curve, let's say you see it way after, right? It's simple. All you have to do is go like them on Facebook and on Twitter. It's AFM Official on Twitter, and on Facebook it's the American Film Market. So go check that out. You'll see me talking about it often. And the reason I say it, well, let me give you an example. When I first went, I had no idea why I went. I went with an actor friend of mine. Big shout out to Patrick Kilpatrick, who was the first person to introduce me to the American Film Market. And I walked around and I was like, I know them, I know that actor, I know that director. I've seen them. I mean, I didn't know them. And then all of a sudden you have a conversation with them. And you're like, oh, this is kind of a small world. So if you want to descend upon Santa Monica and learn the industry really quick, really fast, and really furiously, go get your tickets. AmericanFilmMarket.com, that's where it's at. We have to take a huge break. Again, if you want to see us at the American Film Market, come on out. If you are not there, 2020, that's where it's at. Get your tickets ahead of time. All right, we'll see you again. Oh, and go find Stage 32 in the meantime, okay? You'll get, like, really up to speed there. Make it a great day, everyone. Remember, life is worth living, so live it well. Bye-bye, everyone.